So, we are here in our Lucid Travelers Zoom group, and we've had a little bit of a discussion with everyone. And I'm going to switch it over to speaker mode. Ugh, look at my hair. Look at my wild hairs. Um, and I'm going to turn it over to Eduardo to launch the meeting. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you all for being here.
Welcome. Yeah, thanks for being here, all of you beautiful, wonderful beings, awakening and remembering who you are. Um, I want to start by talking about the energy of the calendar, the Mayan calendar. I practice using the Cholkech and use it to kind of remind us of where we are on the sacred calendar of the Maya or Olmec/Maya. And it is really an interesting time for me to see how we are maneuvering as human beings at this time, which the elders said that we would be going into, and they called it the time of the new sun. And so we're receiving light from our local sun, Hunakpu, in the teachings of the Ki'iche Maya, and also from our central sun that we rotate around Alcyone. So we're receiving a lot of light at this time. And it's having a huge effect on many of us. Many of us are feeling this energy arriving when it arrives, either in the form of a coronal mass ejection from our local sun, or what we would call a solar flare, or it's coming from the photon light that's coming from our mother sun, what we refer to her as Hunakpu, first mother sun. And so keep in mind that we're being literally showered with pure light, loving light, and it may be having an effect on activating our DNA, our codes within, which is really an interesting feeling when we start to have visions, see things that are going to be happening in the future, and then wondering, well, why did I see that? And then it appears, it shows up. And this shows us that we're receiving this light, but we're also activating our own pineal gland and our endocrine system, all of the technology within us. And today, on this sacred calendar of the Maya, the Cholkech, it could be called the Tzolkin in another language, but it's pretty close to the same information that's shared between many of the people of Mesoamerica and Central America, South America, and even North America. So today on the calendar, it is Oshib, or 3, Eh, and is spelled E-E, but it really represents the spiritual path. It represents the staircase that leads up and down. Destiny. It doesn't matter what road you take, you will end up in the right place, according to these teachings. It also brings up in mind memories of our past lives, as well as this life, an unfolding of our personal history of life and living on planet Earth, and also our fortune to look forward to in the future. Positive energies, things that we would love to have in our life, will be showing up. And this is what they call the fortune that we are living in this time right now, to receive this fortune, to receive our dharma from the things that we put out, the things that we create in our own minds and hearts. When we send it out, we're going to receive it back. The animal spirit of today is the mountain lion. And it's my mission, actually, in my life now at 52. I became a different sign of glyph, day sign, and my mission is to be like the mountain lion. So I feel really comfortable living here in the pinon trees and the juniper trees of New Mexico, and on the side of a hill. It's been very comfortable for me to be here. Our powers, as we start to learn more and more about who we are on a day that is called it really wants to reinforce that we have the ability to use our mind, our heart and mind, to intuitively know what's going to be happening. We refer to it as intuition, the force, the path to walk. In other words, to see the direction we want to go and to choose the right path for each of us. So that's the energy of today. And to me, it's like a acknowledgement that I am on the right path to be here talking about this information with all of you today. And it feels really good to be here and to see you all and to welcome you all onto this sacred path. Um, I'd like to also say that this energy of being a human being and watching what's going on our planet at this time is very important for us to keep our balance. So, as we walk this sacred path, to use your balance, whether you're walking on two legs or you're down on your hands and knees, to use the energy of breathing in energy of love and light to get your balance if you happen to lose it. So we'll do a little breath work, a short breath session here, showing you how easy it is for us to get our balance back when we lose it. And as Emma has mentioned just today in one of our conversations, how important it is for us to say, I am here and I choose love. And it's about the intention that we have at this time. And all of us have maybe a little bit different idea of what our intention really is. So please be aware of what your intention is and what you'd like to accomplish, not just in being walking on planet Earth and living our lives, but also, especially when you start to do the internal work, starting to move your heart energy and develop this heart energy to have an intention of what you want to accomplish with that energy that you're creating. What is your intention? So think about that before we do this breath work. And we're going to do just 13 inhales and exhales. And we call this Oshlahu in the Maya teachings. 13 is the number is Oshlahu, and it means transformation. It means that we're in this time of transformation. And as we build our power and energy within, that we are able to use this power of transformation to help change our world that we are creating presently into a world that starts with love and lets go of the fear. So we all want to kind of make sure our feet are on the floor or on the ground, and you can close your eyes. We're going to inhale through the nose, and as you do, you'll have your tongue at the top of the roof of your mouth, and then inhale so you get to expand your diaphragm. Make sure that you expand your diaphragm on every inhale, and that you stretch up and actually straighten out your spinal column. Think before we start, think about what it is your intention is to be here at this time. What is your intention? I'll say a few words to invite in the elements, the four energies of fire, air, earth, and water in the Mayan way. Corazón del cielo, corazón de la tierra, corazón de aire, corazón de agua. This is in Spanish, and it's the calling forth of the heart of the cosmos, the heart of earth, the heart of air, the heart of water. Y tu corazón, your heart, join together with the elements as we do this breath work. Balam kitse, balamakab, mahukata, ik balam. These are the guardians of the four directions according to the ancient teachings of the Maya. And the whole way to feel at this time is to be clear and calm and peaceful before you start this process. And then I'll count the Mayan numbers. We'll go up to 13, which is Oshlahu. And on the Oshlahu breath, we're going to inhale and then hold our breath for a while. Yeah, I say for as long as you can, but just hold it for a while until you feel focused and balanced, and then you can return back here. So let's begin with the Oshlahu, what we call the hummingbird breath. And we start by inhaling through the nose and then exhale through the mouth, but make sure you expand, have enough energy to move in the oxygen and connect it with your diaphragm before you exhale. And let's begin. Un, in, deep Inhale and out. Aib, in and out. Oshib, in. Gayeb, in and out. Ob, Wakib, Wukub, Washakib, Belaheb, Lahuch, Ulahuch, Ablahu, and on Oshlahu, hold your breath as long as you can after you inhale. Oshlahu, deep in and hold. Come back whenever you'd like.
Are you complete, Eduardo?
Yes, I am complete.
All right, I'm going to allow myself to go into a connected state in the ways that I was taught from within. Mm. 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 Ah. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Estima. Mm. It is I. It is a joy to be in connection with you, each and every one of you. allow yourselves to soften your focus. We ask that you depend less on the language and the words and drop into your heart and to your solar plexus and even into the root of your being. We ask and invite you to begin to practice receiving the data that is pure frequency. We ask that you open to receive more information that is wordless. You have a translator working in this capacity in front of you now. And we have stressed or emphasized over this time that we have worked with her, we have emphasized that this is temporary. It is a demonstration. It is a modeling to you, to show you what you are capable of. Do you see? This, all of this work is about you and reaching through other human beings to you so that we might speak more directly to you or commune directly with you. We are here to offer experiential markers for you to begin to identify with. And why do we use that word, identify? You have been identified with a reality and with your personas, and everyone around you seemed to accept that this was life and that this was all there was to it. And you are, some of you are seeing now more and more and more. And we want to say, you are rediscovering that what you knew as a young child was correct. So whatever memories you have, we would say emphasize the feeling memories of being a child, the feeling memories of the magic, the light, the colors. Things were vivid. Things were exciting and joyful for most of you. And then it all changed. And we have discussed this many times, and we do not need to review it again in this way. We just want to touch into this for you to remember those markers again in your form, for they are returning now. As the old or the false grid that we have referred to it as that begins to fade. You are watching it in your external reality now. We have brought through messages that were preparing you for the level of disinformation that would be occurring. and why it was crucial that you connect with your core and your inner guidance now. This is where you get your information. Now, there are those who translate for the collective, whoever wishes to tune in to what these beings are receiving in this way. There are many on the planet now. This is how you will tune into your news. This is how you will tune into the new sphere. Is it NEWS or is it NOOS? Nous. The field, the ether. You are designed to tune in to receive the ongoing broadcasts. So, we are one of many, many voices in the field. And we respond when we are called. You will be more and more, if you are engaged in using your will, we emphasize this. Understand this does not simply happen to you by waiting, as if you are waiting for a bus to come and pick you up, or a train. Engage with the process. And that way, you will know precisely in that moment when you speak or act, or where should I go, so that the magic can happen again as it did when you were a child. You were engaged as a child. Perhaps those of you here listening now in this room, or who will be listening to the recording of this later, perhaps you remember that moment when you realized that you needed to cut off these magical aspects of yourself because it was not welcome here. The soul had been given permission for a time to be visible and active. It was your innocence, your beauty, your grace, your magic as a child. You enchanted those around you until that moment when you were told you must grow up and join the real world. That's when the flip occurred, and you were told what the real world was, which is the opposite, because you were already in the real world, connected in the ways that you were designed. This was very confusing. And some of you have, to this day, deep trauma around betrayal. Now, in these times now, in this phase, which we will outline even further as we go, but in this phase, it does not need to take a long, long time of digging up the old traumas and months and months and months of psychotherapy, although that, if that is your path, then that is your path, and it should be honored. But we are saying that the frequencies are so accelerated now that all it requires is your engagement, your conscious engagement. And we have given the dialogue as a tool, very simple tool, to dialogue with your source creator directly. No intermediaries. Although you may imagine at first that it is angels, you may imagine it is a master being, teacher, you may imagine these conversations. Ultimately, you are talking to yourself with a capital S. And you will experience this deep realization at a certain point in speaking your honesty out loud and attuning your instrument and remembering how to use this inner technology. Many of you are practicing this already. And we are filled with joy to observe this and to watch the shifts and the changes, whether you perceive them or not. There is much going on that you may not be aware of at this time. We have said often, do not beat yourself up. Do not judge yourselves. If you catch yourself in the act of self-deprecation, please stop and correct it. I see that I was shaming myself and feeling guilty in this moment. And I want to feel empowered now. I want to feel that I am growing and expanding and that I am loved and appreciated and cherished. Help me to feel this now. This is an example of the dialogue. You notice what is off, you stop, and you correct it in that moment. You ask for what you need, and you expect it. You see, you have been taught that you are far, far less than what you actually are. And so we are here to remind you that you are already here and present and ready to receive more, to be more, to remember more. And while the world as you knew it is fading and changing rapidly, at the same time you are rising. And this is why it is so important to consciously choose which direction you are going. And here is your feeling directions. There is the direction of contraction. You will feel it in your body. You will remember, at least you are invited to remember that moment when you were a child, perhaps around 6 or 7 years old, when you were told, stop, no more talk like that. You must grow up. You must enter the real world. And you cut off that part of yourself, that very large part of yourself, the essence, the soul essence of who you are. And now, in this moment, when you feel that someone is asking you to be less than who you are, and you feel the contraction in your body, you know that contraction. Perhaps it is shame, perhaps it is guilt, perhaps it is simply fear that they're right about you, that you are less than what you are. You do not need to agree with this. You ask in that moment, correct it, stop it, correct it, and ask for the expansion. Expansion is the other direction. It is more in the realm of unknown. It is the unknown. You are expanding, you are opening your heart, you are opening yourself to be more and more and more vulnerable. I am here and I choose love. And I choose to expand even though I don't have the book or the pamphlet, the instructions for how this works. Do you know that you get your instructions with each step forward into expansion? You receive all that you need to know. It is the act of commitment to expansion that continues to deliver all that you need. All right, let's jump back to contraction. Do you know where this is going? It is also unknown, isn't it? You thought you knew how the world worked. You thought it was predictable. And it is not. It feels as if the rug has been pulled out. And you have only just begun witnessing this direction of contraction. That is not said to cause fear. We have spoken of this many times, that in this timing, there would be the split. The choice of contraction, whether that's consciously or unconsciously, or the conscious choice of expansion. So the dialogue would sound something like this. I am here, I choose love. And I am feeling afraid because I don't know what's next. And there was always someone telling me what's next and what I should believe and what is true and what is false. There was always someone giving me the instructions. Well, guess what? The instructions for your restoration of your divinity are written, etched within you, in your physiology. And it is simply your attention, your willingness to trust and dialogue with this light that changes everything. Now that's perhaps to some of you a lot to ask. But consider the other direction. What did your soul intend for this timing? Because each and every one of you knew what you were getting into before you came here in this particular life focus. You knew. And each and every one of you at this timing is having an argument back and forth. What is true? What is right? How do I maintain consistency with all of my threads and connections to the false grid? How do I keep that up and enter in and restore the natural state, and therefore stand, phase into the natural grid once more? For you see, you are simply out of phase with the truth of who you are. You and your ancestors slowly, through all of these cycles, agreed that you were less, agreed that you were less. And then there are the window times, like right now, where you may willingly change this direction into further contraction, further limitation, by agreeing with who you decide in the external world is the authority. You are the authority. You have a divine authority in the core of your being that is love. We ask you, how often do you see love in the external world, especially now? Are your leaders operating in love? These are important questions. In other words, the one or the ones that you give your authority to, are they based in love? You would see this demonstrated. Care, compassion, empathy, unity. Move in the direction of love. You do not need to know what it is going to look like ahead of time, because you are moving beyond time space. You are moving into your natural state. You are moving into the natural grid. And you are remembering who you are, and you are practicing this. You practice it with yourself and your connection to your source, and then you step out into community and you say, I'm willing to be who I am. I know that you will be patient with me because you are also doing the same thing. And I respect you in all of your steps. And I thank you for revealing what you are learning so that I may take that data in and it may inspire me. And I will share with you what I am rediscovering. And pretty soon, where two or more begin speaking honestly and innocently and expanding, the resonance builds. And we are asking many beings across the globe, many humans, to be willing to be this beacon in their areas, in their location, and to step up, if this is what you chose, to step up and be willing to build resonance in your communities. This is where your power is. Do you see? You must restore the truth of who you are so that you can rediscover what power feels like, what true power founded in love, what this feels like. And you simply transcend the lower spectrum reality that has been looping cycle after cycle after cycle. And at these times in between the greater and grand cycles, we reach through and speak and touch frequency-wise. We touch so that you may remember these inner markers and follow these within you, rather than the external dictates. Do you understand? This is what follow your heart means. Now, the voice, the translation that you are hearing right now is because the light has been unlocked within this human. This is what the mother light is when we use that term. The mother light is trapped within each and every one of you, and it is calling out. This is the mother, this is the soul, this is the essence that is trapped beneath the pain and the shame and the guilt, the trauma, whatever you wish to name it. All of that has been piled on and shoved down because you needed to be something else in order to be successful here. So you made agreements with many, 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 many people that yes, indeed, the essence of who I am is not welcome here. I shall keep it hidden from view. And you wonder why there is illness, physical, mental, emotional illnesses. It is because you have suppressed the mother. And it is time for her to rise within you. She will not be descending from the clouds and saving you and welcoming you into another realm. In fact, be very suspicious of these external manipulations, which you may see more of in the not too distant future. Always go within for your information, and it will tell you whether what you are seeing, what is being presented to you in the external world, is that true? You will get better and better and better at this the more you practice it. So in our last gathering, we spoke of primarily your year of 2025. And we framed it in a way that it would be challenging, difficult. It need not be. But for many of you, there are more of the breaking down events so that there can be the breaking through. When you can begin to reconnect more and more and more and feel. You see, you need to be broken open in a transformational experience so that you agree to receive more and open more, because you now have shifted from I will hide this light to I'm willing to open to this light. And that's where you're informed. Now, at this timing, there will be more of the breakdowns in order to experience more of the breakthroughs. You will be called to be more of an example for those around you. That takes courage. Note, if you are asked a question about what you know to be true, of a spiritual nature, let us say, note, if you shrink that answer, you contract to make it fit what you think they want to hear. This will be met with more of a quick response, an accelerated response of, nope, I don't think you want to do that. You will want to tell the truth. So understand that there is no more time to play with here. In 2025, it is very important that if you are choosing expansion, that you make this a regular daily practice of connecting in truth and honesty, the dialogue, or any other tools that you use that bring you into the present moment to continue to make these choices for expansion. Also, at the same time, you will slip up. You will fall back into the false grid, and it will be painful. Thankfully, it will be painful, so that you do not decide that contraction, it isn't as bad as all that. It'll be fine. Contraction is fine. And you do have that choice. Or do you want to continue to expand and remember and shine brighter and brighter and brighter so that you can help others around you too? And all of you have unique gifts, capacities that you have only seen the surface of. But if you keep expanding, you will unpack more of these gifts. Because that's why you came here. You are so much stronger than you think you are. We smile when we say this because we already know how this turns out. Do you see? We see you, we know you well. And you have forgotten. That is the nature of this reality, to forget your essence. So we are here to be your essence and talk to you and remind you of who you are. And you are putting yourself back together again in this way. So when we speak of anything beyond 2025, your calendar time, we are speaking of different manifestations of what contraction looks like and what expansion looks like. And there are no real predictions for 2026 and 2027, except that you will know what your choices are in no uncertain terms. You will know by feedback from your reality. Am I joining contraction? Have I agreed to continue to contract? We do not choose to provide you these visuals and feelings of what more contraction looks like. We want you to use your own imagination for what might be happening further down the road with the current trajectory that you see in your external world. We are not ones who predict. We are here to encourage you to remember who you are. And we will say that the more expansion you feel in 2026, 2027, you will be in an entirely, to you at this point in time, an entirely new reality. And that would be the phasing in of the natural grid. And we are not here to describe in great detail the glory of the natural grid. That is for you to discover, to rediscover, and you can certainly imagine. From the moments that you have felt connected to this grace, to this light, to this love, imagine that expanding more and more, and you being able to hold this in your form. Once you restore your natural state and you are a citizen once again of the natural grid, there are no limitations. So you may touch into some of these feelings about what that expansion trajectory might feel and look like. And we are encouraging you now to stay in the present moment as much as possible, because you are working now on this choice between contraction and expansion. So remember that you have the power within you to expand and just receive, to hear the broadcasts of encouragement. You will feel encouragement in your blood and bones, in your flesh. Every cell of your body will sing to you. You will hear the song, you will feel the song, and you will move in the direction of this music. And, as we always state clearly, you are not judged if you decide to go another round through contraction and limitation. Understand that we are you. We are aspects of you. And we come in a variety of forms. Whatever might get your attention when we reach to you. In the end, you are this light, and you are coming around to it. You are waking up out of this deep, deep sleep, repetitive movements of sameness and limitation that you adapted to, because you are marvelously adaptive beings, and you no longer have to contract. Go within, have the discussion and the dialogue. Be real. Remember how to be real again, like you were as a child. This will grow, this will expand, this will carry you. You are a treasure to your source. You are a treasure to First Father, First Mother. And you are being asked to be an equal partner in bringing the mother back online with the father. It is the Holy Child that is birthed through you. This is all symbology for what is possible within you if you help to bridge First Father and First Mother. Now, we know that this perhaps has been a lot, all in one sitting, but understand that it will be more and more and more as we go. You are in the thick of it now, and we are here. We are here to demonstrate this, to model this for as long as you need, but understand that we are only doing this temporarily until you reconnect and remember and receive again in the ways that you were designed, and feel the love of all flowing through you and offered to others around you if you choose. We thank you for your attention at this timing, and we look forward to more conversations with you. Trust that you are loved. Trust that you do know what you are doing. You have done it many times before. You are remembering. Be patient with yourselves and trust. We love you. Good day. All right, I'm back.
Thank you. And
That felt really good.